some more Jumpstart Historic Horizon spoilers. We got some really sweet ones today, honestly. So, Goblin Dark-Dwellers here. When it enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less without paying its mana cost. That spell will be put into your graveyard this turn. Exile it instead. Just a sweet, like, mid-range value card. You know, flashing back Lightning Helix seems decent. Among other things that you could be doing in the form. And this card wasn't standard. I flashback Read the Bones with it quite frequently. We don't have that one, but I'm sure there's other instant sorceries that are decent that you could be doing. It's a kind of a more proactive Snapcaster Mage style thing. Very, very sweet cube card for sure. How does this interact with Ephemerate? This interacts very profitably with Ephemerate. So if you flashback Ephemerate with this, the Ephemerate exiles itself with Rebound and then rebounds back. And then when it rebounds, you can blink it with the Rebound and recast the Ephemerate again after you rebound it. So it interacts with Ephemerate exactly how you want it to interact with Ephemerate. Is the TLDR. So that's a good one to pair it with. Maybe there's maybe there's like a Mardu deck where you're like Mardu Ephemerate, because we're getting we have Skyclave Apparition and we're getting Seasoned Pyromancer. So Goblin Dark-Dwellers, Seasoned Pyromancer, Ephemerate sounds really gas. Harmonic Prodigy. When a shaman or wizard you control triggers, its ability triggers an additional time. This probably isn't like this. This text isn't super relevant in the format. I guess this is a wizard. Maybe there's a blue-red wizards deck in the format. There's the 3-drop 2/2 flying haste that gives you all your wizards +1/+1 whenever you cast a spell, and this would double that up, which could be sweet potentially. Rebound is only from hand. Oh, is that true? Is that true? Explain Rebound. Let's look at the exact wording on that. If a spell with Rebound was cast from hand, exile it as it resolves. Rats. It doesn't work with Ephemerate how we want it to. That's edge. That's a good catch. So that would make sense. Otherwise, however they'd be templated would rebound endlessly. Thank you for the correction. To all of you people in the YouTube video in the future who left a comment telling me that I didn't know how Ephemerate worked before watching the entire video, shame on you. Always watch the entire video before you leave a comment. All right, Cordial Vampire. When Cordial Vampire or another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on each vampire you control. It's probably not very good. Like, the stat line on this is pretty mediocre. And in your tribal deck, if your stuff is dying, you're probably not in a very good spot. This card doubling Dreadhorde Arcanist isn't really meaningful because Dreadhorde Arcanist is a card that's already good on its own. So playing a kind of mediocre card to make your good card even better is kind of win more. Tireless Provisioner. When a land enters the battlefield under you control, you get a food or a treasure token. Please give us Tireless Tracker as one of the last couple of rares. This is cute, but I would really like Tireless Tracker. Ooh, that's a good catch on Cordial Vampire. This triggers on their things dying too. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's just such a mediocre rate. Like, a 1/1 for 2 is such a tough sell. But so the person in chat saying like 3 mana Sorin plus Silver Smoke Ghoul. If you have 3 mana Sorin and you have Silver Smoke Ghoul and you're like keeping both of those cards in play, you're probably already winning the game. So like, there's no reason to like have this card that makes you win the game harder when you already have this other combo set up. Is Provisioner potentially good in Jund Food? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think it's like individually powerful enough. Food and treasures just like don't generate card advantage on their own, and I don't think that archetype really struggles to make enough food. Partisan is a sweet design. So they're digital only cards, so 2 mana, 1/2 with lifelink. Then whenever you cycle another card, you may pay 2. If you do, you can return this from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, and it gains 1 attack perpetually. So you can cycle this on turn 2, and then on turn 3, you can cycle a 1 mana spell and get a 2/2 with lifelink into play tapped. So normally this style of card would be good to give you resiliency against attrition-based decks in something like a cycling deck. The problem with this card is that the cycling decks are Zenith Flare decks at their core, right? So especially in the post-board matchups, the attrition decks are already bringing in graveyard hate against you. So playing another card like this that leans into the graveyard in those matchups is probably not the best place to be. There could be an argument that maybe this recursive threat in general is better than Zenith Flare in those games against those pieces of graveyard. I could see that being a reasonable position to take. So maybe worth testing, but I also wouldn't be surprised if this isn't quite good enough in Historic. This chat card, Sveiluan of the Sea and Sky. This was actually one of the cards in my top 5 cards for Historic on Magic Arena out of Modern Horizons 2. I think this card is a phenomenal addition to the format. Merfolk has felt this close to competitive at different points, and with the addition of Master of the Pearl Trident as another 2-mana lord, in addition to this card, and this card is just so good at solving the problems that tribal decks have in a format like Historic. You know, Jeskai Control is really popular, and this card works to solve problems you have against Jeskai Control. It gives your Merfolk ward against their spot removal, and this card is indestructible if you have other Merfolk in play. So you can go wide a little bit with this card against Jeskai and know that even if they Wrath of God you, this card's going to stick around, and then it's going to start drawing you cards when it attacks post Wrath of God. So it insulates you against everything the control deck's doing. It has a 4th point of toughness exactly, so it doesn't die to Lightning Helix, which is huge. And it costs 3 mana, so you're blue-green for Merfolk anyways, so your collected companies find this card for you. So honestly, I think Merfolk's probably the tribe that's getting the biggest upgrades with this, with the addition of these two, and they're the one I'm most excited to try at this point. Yeah, like this is like a super Kira, basically. Yeah, it's kind of different. Kira, they can't pay to get around the ward effect, but it's also not a Merfolk, it doesn't draw cards. There are new commons, uncommons in the Reddit link. Okay. Visionary. Draw a card, discard a card, Delirium, draw a card. That's probably not good enough. We looked at this one already. I think this card is sweet as an additional 1-drop. It lets you cheat on your land count because you can turn any Merfolk in your hand into a tropical island. Rejury is a card we already have. This is a 5-mana spell. Lol. Already have that. 4-mana spells. 2-mana spells. We already saw Faceless Agent. I don't know that this card is good enough. We'll have to see what the curve looks like when we build the Merfolk deck together. Maybe you have room for a couple of these. This is kind of like so Seek means you guaranteed draw Merfolks. This is kind of like Silvergale Adepts 5 and 6 if you wanted to play more of them. Silvergale Adept is very good. Silvergale Adept will definitely see play. I skipped over it because it's already legal in the format. Did we get Curse Catcher, chat? Is there a Curse Catcher in here that I haven't seen yet? Why didn't they give us Curse Catcher, chat? That was the other one we really needed. This one, these two are good, but like Curse Catcher would have been Chef's Kiss for beating up Jeskai. That's the one we really need. Curse Catcher, for those not familiar, let's pull it up here for the Magic Zoomers. A lot of these tribal decks struggle to have good 1-drops, and this card, I honestly think Curse Catcher is more important than Spreading Seas. This card is just so good at stopping Lightning Helix. It means the Wrath of God can't happen until turn 5 if they want to play around it. Like, this card would have been huge. All right, are there any others? Anybody seen anything spoiled that I missed that we didn't cover here? Vampires has some uncommons. Well, the uncommon Merfolks weren't meaningful. Let's check this real quick. Looking. Can someone just link me a picture of CGB's preview? We got Archmage's Charm. That's a perfect one to give CGB. Oh no! Chat, Jeskai Control got Archmage's Charm. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh no. Well, shit. Remember when I spent time saying I was hoping the format would be more creature based? Yikes. Yeah, at least it's triple blue. Maybe there's a chance that mana bases in Historic are bad enough that Jeskai Control can't play this card in Lightning Helix, but man, if the mana is functional, this card is like it's really good. Like having your divination also be a cancel and your cancel be a divination is super strong. Yeah, perhaps this is a reason to play straight blue white. I don't know. Like in blue white, I guess you have a lot of dual lands in blue white. Yeah, maybe this card being introduced makes straight blue white and straight blue red control options outside of Jeskai. How do you acquire the cards? So you will acquire the cards by sacrificing a small animal and then doing a ritualistic dance with your credit card to Wizards of the Coast. You will play the Jumpstart game mode to acquire cards there. The Jumpstart game mode is not Phantom, so the packs you pick, you get cards from. And then you can also craft them using wild cards, which will be painful and expensive, but it's what I intend to do because I don't have time to play through a bunch of Jumpstart stuff on stream. We just want to craft cards game one. If you won the tournament last week, you dropped the $2,000. I'm expecting to spend $500 to $600. There's a lot of good mythics in here that I'm gonna want 3 to 4 of. All right, I think that covers it. We ranted through a lot. I think it's time. I think it's time to unite the Pokey friends. Last bunch of comments. Is there anything playable? Is there anything playable in here before you make me click through? Ooh, we're getting Rage Forger. This card's actually low-key very reasonable. This is like an actual payoff for shamans. Put a 1/1 counter on each other shaman you control. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter attacks, you may have it deal 1 damage to target player. It basically gives your shamans +2 attack. And this is a card that could work, that could make... Oh, this isn't a shaman, it's a wizard. Sag. She does double up the triggers, though. I don't know. I don't know if shamans are going to be playable, but if there was a card that could push shamans in Historic, it's probably this one. Card is very, very decent and reasonable. All right. Now for